all of us gay guys, I think, we have that original womb. There's something in our masculinity, and we're looking for that Father. Well, I found the Father in heaven. He's my Father, yeah. And, I was getting used up, I was getting burned up, and I started to do some hustling and some escorting, because it was a thrill in San Francisco to get to do that. You got to go to these crazy places. We're doing it outside in Golden Gate Park and in the Castro and the Corners, and, it was a new thrill for me. And at that point, I wasn't even worried about getting AIDS anymore, because I think I wanted to die. Because I was in that life, I'd been in it for 10 years. I'd slept with so many men, I would say at least 1,000. And I did get chlamydia, I did get gonorrhea, and I had to have a series of surgeries. I know backdoor sex is hot in porn. I look at sometimes when I'm doing my research and I'm doing my blog, I look at what are the top 10, and they're always they're always anal. Every single time. And the majority of them, man, anal sex doesn't work. I did a series of videos on them on YouTube, and people just thought I was completely bananas. But it's so physically damaging to the body. I still have to deal with the physical ramifications. I actually was hospitalized because of that. And I know the proctologists in San Francisco have a huge business with gay men in San Francisco, because it just doesn't, it's not working. And I love those guys so much, but they're like me. They're searching for love, and they're searching for acceptance, and they're searching for peace. And in those few moments of ecstasy, you do find those things, but it's very fleeting. So when I got into escorting and hustling, I didn't care. I had some friends that had committed suicide by then that were in porn, and I had some friends that had died of HIV and AIDS. And I kind of thought that I just want to join them, because I didn't care. Like I said, I'd been looking for so many years from so many men. I kept looking for that ultimate guy, or that ultimate scene, or that ultimate movie where everything was going to click into place. And I thought I'd be healed. And it never happened. I did get picked up by a guy, and he put a knife to my throat. And, I asked him to murder me, and he wouldn't do it. But, it wasn't enough for me. My last final scene was in a leather club. And, it involved everything that's sick in that whole world. And I ended up in a hospital because after years of ecstasy, that was my favorite. I loved ecstasy. And we use a lot of poppers in gay porn. And I had a heart condition. I didn't know it. I had atrial fib. Because I would literally go months when I was in porn, I wouldn't sleep. I would just go like crazy. I was like manic. You talk about that a little bit, where you just were going all the time. You're like a vampire, And my body was burned out. And I ended up in the emergency room. My mother, God bless her, showed up. And I was vomiting and sick, vomiting up blood. Blood was coming out of every orifice. And my mother prayed for me, and I cursed her, and I hated her, and I hated God, and I hated Jesus, and I cursed them all at that last moment. And I just thought she was the stupidest person on earth to be sitting there praying for me. And the devil came for me. And he was there in the hospital room. And he took hold of me. And a lot of times when I did porn, I had a chain around my neck and a collar. And he had it back around my neck, and he was pulling on it. and he was dragging me to hell, literally. And hell opened up, and I saw it, and I went, dear Lord Jesus, I don't want to go there. This isn't right. And I hadn't thought of God, and I hadn't thought of Jesus in so many years. But for some bizarre reason, like she said, I had a little seed in me from my childhood. And it was like that. And the devil and all the demons were gone. And I was thrown back in my body. But it was a body that I really hadn't been in for so long, because I had been demonically possessed by Satan. And I was like, wow, where am I? Who am I? What's going on? It's like, especially the last 10 years, I didn't know what I had done. I was like being reborn. And God he just took me on the road. And I never did porn after that. And I just got out of that life, and it was over. And I ran for a few years. I hid out. I was so scared. I wanted to get out of San Francisco. I wanted to get out of California. But I realized I had to come back because God had saved me. And I had to help others, because since I've been speaking out to gay men, so many of them come to me and say, Joe, I'm not happy in this life, and I don't know how to get out. And I just tell them, you don't have to be in that world anymore. You can get out. You don't have to be there. And that's what I pray for my brothers and my gay sisters, that they just realize that God has given them a very heavy cross. It's a gift, this temptation they have. But it's an invitation by Jesus to stand very close to him as he is nailed on the cross and dies, like the harlot Mary Magdalene, like the virginal St. John, his mother Mary, that we can stand there with him and suffer with him, because the world needs our suffering, our redemptive suffering, to renew all of our gay brothers and sisters who are so lost and still walking those streets. They're desperate and they're hopeless, but they just need love. Thank you, sweetie.